You went quiet, assuming the silence would make her crave you. You pictured her staring at her phone, wondering where you disappeared to. But days turned to weeks, maybe even months, and still, no message, no sign of her missing you. She's out there living her life as if you never existed, while you're spiraling, checking her stories, refreshing her page, asking yourself, why doesn't she feel my absence? Why isn't she chasing me? Why does it seem like she's winning? The answer is simple. She didn't lose anything. And by the end of this video, you'll finally understand why. This isn't about gimmicks or cheap manipulation. This isn't about playing games. This is about rebuilding yourself into the type of man no one can overlook, especially not her. By the time we're done, you'll know why your silence has failed so far and how to turn it into a move that actually shifts the power back to you. So if you're ready for a harsh dose of reality, keep watching. And if you're serious about becoming unshakable, type "I am in control" in the comments below, because after this, you won't see things the same way again. You've been told silence is power, that disappearing will automatically make her miss you. That's a lie. Silence by itself does nothing. Silence without impact is just absence. And absence without value doesn't even register. She's not reaching out because you never built the kind of presence that would make her feel your loss. But today that changes. You're not just here to learn how to make her miss you. That's thinking small. You're here to learn how to become a force. A man whose quiet demands attention. A man whose presence adds so much value that when it's gone, it creates a void no one else can fill. So let's break down the 5 harsh reasons your silence isn't working and exactly what you need to do about it. Reason number 1, she expects you to chase. While you sit there, waiting for her to notice your withdrawal, she already knows exactly what's happening. She's seen your pattern. She knows your emotions. Most importantly, she knows you're still waiting. She's not confused. She's not suddenly realizing your worth. She's expecting you to break first. She's expecting the "hey, just checking in" text, the "I miss you" message, the "are you okay" call, because that's how it's always been. She's lived through this cycle before. When a man like you goes quiet, it's rarely because he's truly done. It's because he's hoping she'll notice. And when she realizes that, do you know what she feels? Nothing. Because deep down she knows you haven't changed. That's why you need to stop playing a game you were never supposed to win. From a young age, you were trained to chase, to prove your worth, to stay consistent, to show her how much you care, thinking she'd see it and choose you. But what happened? You chased. You proved. You stayed consistent. And she took it for granted because she never had to earn it. She never had to invest in you. She never had to question your presence. You were always there, constantly available, constantly reassuring, constantly proving yourself. And because of that, she never valued it. Now you think silence is the answer, that disappearing will make her come running back. That's not how this works. She only misses what she can't predict. She only questions what she can't control. Right now, she still controls you. She controls your thoughts because you're still thinking about her. She controls your actions because your silence is still about her. She controls your emotions because every time she posts, you feel something. That's not power. That's waiting. And waiting is just another form of chasing. If you want to flip the power dynamic, she needs to believe with absolute certainty that you're truly done. Not pretending. Not hoping. Done. Reason number 2. Your silence doesn't feel strong. It feels empty. Silence can only be powerful when it's backed by strength. And right now, your silence doesn't come across as powerful. It comes across as weakness. She doesn't see a man in control. She sees a man sulking in the background, hoping she notices. Think about it. If when you were present, you came across as needy, clingy, or desperate for her attention, then your silence doesn't shock her. It just fits the pattern. To her, this isn't, "wow, he's grown into someone new." It's, "yep, he's doing that thing again, pouting until I reach out." And that's why it has no impact. Powerful silence isn't just about being absent. It's about what you're doing with that absence. Are you building? Are you leveling up your life? your body, your mind? Are you showing through your actions that you are not the same man she thought she knew? Or are you sitting there, watching her page, counting the days, waiting for her to break? She knows the difference. Women have radar for this. If your silence is just a waiting game, she feels it instantly. And do you know what she thinks when she feels that? Nothing. She shrugs and moves on. But when your silence is fueled by actual growth, when it's clear you've redirected your focus toward yourself, suddenly she feels it. Because then she realizes she doesn't control the narrative anymore. Reason number 3, you never created emotional weight in the first place. Here's the truth. People don't miss absence. They miss impact. They don't crave silence. They crave the emotions tied to your presence. And that's why she hasn't reached out. When you were around, you didn't give her enough to feel. You didn't create emotional highs, tension, mystery, or excitement. You gave her consistency, comfort, predictability. And while those things sound good on paper, they don't stick in the mind. Think about this. The people you miss most in life aren't always the ones who were there every day. They're the ones who made you feel something unforgettable. The ones who left a mark on you. If your presence didn't spark that, then your absence won't hurt. It's not that she's cold or heartless. It's that you didn't create the kind of memory that leaves a void when it's gone. So when she doesn't text, when she doesn't check on you, it's not because silence doesn't work. It's because silence only works when the presence before it was unforgettable. Right now, you're learning this the hard way. But here's the shift. It's not too late. You can rebuild that by becoming the type of man who challenges her, excites her, makes her feel something deeper than routine. You create a dynamic where your presence has weight. And when your presence has weight, your absence suddenly becomes heavy too. That's when silence transforms from being ignored into being noticed. Reason number 4, you're still chasing, just in disguise. This one stings, but it's the brutal truth. Silence can still be chasing, and that's exactly what you're doing. You think you're stepping back, but deep down, your silence is still about her. You're not silent for your growth. You're not silent because you've moved on. You're silent because you want a reaction. And that's not power. That's just a quieter form of begging. Look at your actions. You don't message her, but you're checking her stories. You don't call her, but you stalk her page. You don't ask her how she is, but every night you lie awake wondering if she misses you. That's not strength. That's obsession in disguise. She still owns your mind, and she can feel it. Women are intuitive. They know when you're still orbiting their world. And as long as she knows that, she doesn't feel your absence because your energy is still chasing her. Chasing isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent, but it's still chasing. The real shift happens when your silence stops being about her altogether. When you pull your energy away fully, not just from her inbox, but from her influence over your life. When you put that focus back into your own mission, that's when silence stops being a trick and starts being transformation. And that's when she finally notices, because for the first time, she's no longer the center of your attention. Reason number 5, she doesn't believe you can actually walk away. This is the core reason your silence fails. She doesn't take it seriously. She's seen this pattern before. You disappear for a few days, maybe even a couple of weeks. You wait, you watch, you hope, but eventually you fold. You send the first text. You check in. You give in. And because you've always broken the silence, she doesn't believe it anymore. Do you know what happens when someone doesn't believe you can leave? You lose all power. She doesn't feel urgency. She doesn't feel pressure. She feels secure knowing he'll be back. He always comes back. And that's why she doesn't chase you. The moment she believes you can truly walk away, for real, not as a performance, that's when everything flips. That's when silence becomes loud. That's when she starts questioning herself, doubting her choices, replaying memories in her head. Because finally, the cycle is broken. Finally, she doesn't know if you're coming back. And listen, this isn't about pretending. This isn't about acting tough online while secretly waiting. This is about making a decision to raise your standards, To stop begging for someone who doesn't see your value. To cut the leash that's kept you tied to her approval. When your silence comes from that place, from genuine self-respect, from real growth, from a willingness to walk away and never look back, that's when it becomes undeniable. That's when she feels it. And that's when you finally have the power you've been chasing all along. Stop treating silence like a gimmick. Stop waiting for her to crumble just because you step back. Silence on its own is powerless. It's just absence. But silence backed by value, by strength, by undeniable presence. That's when it transforms into a weapon. Here's the shift you need to make. Silence is not about her at all. It's not about what she feels, what she notices, or whether she comes back. Silence is about you reclaiming your energy, your time, your focus. It's about sending a message not to her, but to yourself, that you will no longer beg, no longer wait, and no longer hand over your power. Because the truth is, she only misses what she can't replace. She only chases what she can't control. And right now, you've been too predictable, too available, too easy to understand. She doesn't feel your silence because she still feels your energy. The day you cut that off completely, the day you stop orbiting her world, is the day your silence finally becomes deafening. And here's the part most men never realize. When you stop waiting for her, when you stop hoping she notices, something bigger happens. You stop needing her altogether. You step into a version of yourself that no one can overlook. The type of man whose presence makes an impact wherever he goes, not just in relationships, but in life. And that kind of man doesn't sit around wondering if she misses him. That kind of man already knows he's unforgettable. So hear me clearly. Don't use silence as a trick. Use it as a transformation. Use it to become someone whose energy commands respect, whose presence is valued, and whose absence is impossible to ignore. And if you're ready to stop waiting, stop chasing, and finally take control of your own story, then type, "I am in control" in the comments right now. Because once you step into this mindset, once you understand this level of power, you'll never think about silence or about her the same way again.